Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investors Channel. My name is Sensei Crypto and I will be doing the Sunday show. I'm here every Sunday. It's more of a chart related show. We're looking at charts, trade setups, buying opportunities. Again, everything I do in this show is not financial advice. It's just my opinions, my own trades, my own thoughts. It's great to get people's perspectives. And I'm here to give the technical perspectives. Today's a special show because we've got requested to do the FSR stock, SoundHound stock, Nikola stock. Their earnings are upcoming this week, so we'll be going through each of them. In about 10 minutes, we'll be starting to do those reviews. In the meantime, I'll answer some of your questions, go through a bit of crypto, and get the show started. So thank you all for being here. If this is your first time here, please do subscribe. That way you can comment on the show. We have hit an amazing milestone. Martyn has hit 17.5k subscribers, which is great. Very happy about that for the show and all the members. And if you are here now, please do hit the like button. There is 18 people watching and only 8 likes, so I'd love to see that go all the way up to 18. So please do hit the like button and we'll get straight into it. We do have a poll at the moment. Will this be a green or red week? We'll be looking at the S&P 500 and I'll give my thoughts in just a second. Let's go over to the charts. Oh, why am I? Let me sort out myself. There we go. So yeah, here we go. So we have got a request before the show started about from Jose Quintana saying, hello Sensei Crypto, can you look at chart analysis on KSCP? So we'll quickly get started with that. Please do let me know if there's anything specific you want to look at, and if we have time, we will look into them. It seems like you have requested this. I think it was you, Jose, because we do have some buy levels on this. As you can see here, we have come back down to the lows over here at 47 cents. It does look like, I don't think we put in a lower low. I think it's a double bottom, it seems, at the moment. So there is the RSI is a bit higher, so maybe a little bit of bullish divergence, but what we're looking for from this stock is a sort of a breakout or out of this channel. Let's make this a bit thicker so you can see. So what we're looking for, there's sort of a wedge pattern going on. It's not a perfect wedge, but what you can see here is lower highs and lower lows, but it is converging. What we want to see is a breakout of this channel. The first target is still the 57 cents. Once you break out 57 cents, the next target is 64 cents. So those could be, depending on how much you've traded and if you're trading the stock, if you want to hold it long term, it depends how you want to take profits. If you are taking a position, then obviously you can take some profits at 57 cents, then 64 cents. But if you're holding long term, then what you want to see is a breakout of those two levels, the 57, the 64, to put in a higher high to break out this high. And then you start looking at targets of 71 cents, 82 cents, and then around this moving average, maybe the 200-day moving average is sitting at 88 cents at the moment, and that's coming down. So you'll be looking to take profits, I think, on a more long-term position around the 82 cents if we do break out higher. Be aware that, be prepared for every circumstance. Coming down to 45 cents is definitely in the cards. And then again, the best buying opportunity will be at 37 cents. There's no guarantee we'll get there. That would be a break of structure. So what we're looking for now is a break of this trend line over here. So yeah, those are the levels. Breakout of 57 cents, then you're sort of looking at 71 cents, and 82 cents should be an area where you do take profits, whether it's a trade or a longer term position. Yeah, so we have looked at that in the past, so there hasn't been much change, just that there could be a double bottom in play at the moment, which will take us to break out this structure, this wedge pattern that's converging now. We have Zach Zate here. Hello, Zach Zate. 3 to 1 Moon. Do you think this week will be big for AI? I'm not sure. It'll probably be based stock by stock. It's very hard to predict narratives for the week as in a general sense. It really depends on their earnings, and if it was just hype, and if they're not making as much. These AI companies are not making as much as they hoped. Obviously, Nvidia did really well, making all-time highs. Wouldn't be buying it, definitely not buying it now. But that's doing well. So and that's to do with chips that are using AI. So let's see how these AI stocks look. We'll be looking at SoundHound shortly as well. Let's quickly look at the S&P 500 before we start and see if we can give an answer to Martyn's question of there's a poll running right now. You can all see, will this be a green or red week? Let's see if we can look at the charts and see if we can give my thoughts on whether it's going to be a green or red week. So this is the S&P 500. Obviously, we're at all-time highs. What we're looking at here is a parallel channel we've been following, and this was the parallel channel that took us out of this bear market. As you can see here, these lows here, this was the moment I called the bear market over, which was in March of 2023. The reason I did that is because this diagonal trend line over here, let me put it in green for you guys so you can see a bit better. The first reason was there was a breakout of this point here, a retest to buy in. Secondly, there was a bottoming out structure, sort of a reverse head and shoulders pattern. If you look at these rounding bottoms over here, there was a bottom here, bottom here, bottom here, sort of a reverse head and shoulders, and then the confirmation bottom here. And that's when we sort of broke out of the structure. And that's, I think I called it maybe a month after Martyn did, but I look at the technical, so it's a bit lagged. I think Martyn was calling the bottom sort of in December, the bear market sort of over in December. I called it in sort of March. So a good few months after. However, I wanted to see the charts perspective, and that's why we have the technicals, and obviously Martyn does the fundamentals. So that was a point where sort of the bear market was over. And this parallel channel you can see is as long as we're in this parallel channel and we don't deviate too much from it, we are in a bull market. The structure is there. You can see it's hit these the top here, came down, actually broke out of the parallel channel, but as discussed, a bottom was put in. If you go back to the streams of October, you can see why we said that this is fine, it's normal, it's a buying opportunity. And now what we're looking at here is the opposite, is we're breaking out of the parallel channel to the upside. So what do I think? I think it's not a time to be buying. This, for example, you're breaking below it, it's a time to be buying. Breaking above it is not a time to be buying, it's probably a time to be selling. That's my own opinion. I'm trying to see if there's any Fibonacci points, not really. It's outside of that. Obviously, you can see it extended out of this parallel channel, maybe 5% to the downside. So you can break out 5% to the upside as well. So that is a possibility, but I don't think we are going much higher. I think we will be retracing to maybe levels of 4,800. Not this week, but in the coming weeks. I would be cautious. I wouldn't be buying now. If you're in the DCA strategy, where I like to do a DCA strategy, but not just blindly. I like to do it at levels where I think is less risk. This is a high risk area. I would probably be, instead of DCAing, I'll be putting that money in cash, earning 6% on uninvested cash, 5% on Robinhood. I think it is a lot of investment ways you can earn 5.5%. Something like that. I would be putting it away in cash at the moment, not buying, not DCAing at the moment, waiting for areas such as 4,700 DCA. Again, this year, I think we will have, maybe after the elections, we will have a significant move to the downside, maybe coming in, going back down to 4,000. But that's not what we're discussing right now. We're looking at the week ahead. So it's hard for me to say, yes, we can. It's one of those situations where, yes, we can go up 5%, but we can also start deviating down. And I'm more on the side that we're coming down this week. Depending on earnings, of course, I can't predict what's going to happen in the earnings. If I could, I'd be a millionaire. But yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say we're coming down. But in general, I'd say not a buying opportunity at the moment. We are overextended. The RSI is sort of high, and we're hovering around. And we haven't hovered around high RSI levels like this. If you look at the bottom of the screen over here, for a while. We like to go up, down, up, down. We've stayed at this level for quite a while. We're putting in higher highs, but not higher highs on the RSI. So it's not looking brilliant on the RSI. The buyers seem to come out the market, and the RSI is coming down, but we're putting all-time highs. So the buyers seem to be exhausted right now. I don't think it's the best time to be buying, and that's the S&P 500. That sort of will translate into other stocks, obviously, but mainly the bigger caps. So the small caps could still do well, while the big caps start to cool off for a brief week or two. Let's quickly look at some crypto as well, and before we get into FSR and SOUN stock and Nikola, which we will be doing shortly. So we can start off with Bitcoin, which is continuing to go up. It's at the resistance of 53,000. Obviously, after we broke, we were buying at 20,000, 15,000, but we haven't done much buying since. Again, when we broke out of 30,000, we knew we were coming up to 50,000. If you go back and watch those previous videos, when we broke out of these sort of 30,000 levels, we knew we're coming higher. The first level was 35,000. We broke out of that. The next level, as you can see, I haven't changed these charts. It's broke out of there, 45,000. Now what we're looking for now is sort of these resistance levels around here, which we are at currently. So if we do break out, then it does seem like we might be hitting all-time highs. So I just don't think that we're at that point in the cycle. Unless the S&P continues to go up 5%, 10%, 15%, then yes, Bitcoin's going to hit all-time highs. But I think the S&P is overextended. Bitcoin's also overextended. So beware, we might enter a cooling off period. And that cooling off period doesn't mean the smaller caps will have to come down. It might just be a cooling off period where we go sideways, maybe come back down to 47,000, 45,000, and Ethereum continues to go up. The S&P might come down for 10%, and the smaller market caps might continue to go up until something bad happens, recession scares, probability that the inflation staying sticky at 3% like it has in the past 7 months. If that continues to happen, then we'll have a bigger crash on our hands and everything will come down. The bigger caps will come down, Bitcoin will come down 20%, altcoins will come down 40%, the S&P 500 will come down 15%, SPCE will go down 50%, for example. So be aware of that. But if that market continues to be healthy, the S&P hovers around where it is, Bitcoin hovers around where it is, these smaller market caps, whether that be Ethereum, XRP, Axie Infinity, Chainlink, they'll continue to go up. And in the stock market, if the S&P continues where it is now, goes up 5%, goes down 2%, goes sideways, then that gives opportunity to stocks like FSR, SPCE, Nikola, and the smaller market cap stocks to go up 50%, 40%, 30%, and that's why we're going to be looking at those stocks very shortly. So if you are here, please do hit the like button. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. So my answer to Martyn's question is going to be, it's on the verge, it's hard to tell, we're not at a specific level, but I'm going to put red. And that's for the S&P 500, that's the market as a whole. So that's Bitcoin. Obviously Ethereum's had a great week, so let's have a quick look at Ethereum. There it is, 3,000. We broke out again. I know my overall tone has been fairly bearish, but we have been buying these around 1,000. If you look at the crypto portfolio on Martyn's channel, ask him to show it. Bitcoin was being bought at 15,000, and sentiment does change as the price goes up and breaks level. Sentiment does change. ETF news was obviously very bullish. We still have 20% in cash, so we're ready for a drop, and it's getting to points where we might start taking profits if we go up another 10%. But Ethereum broke 2,000, the next target was 2,600, and now we're looking at what's the next target for Ethereum, maybe 3,500. So we'll keep an eye out. Again, I wouldn't be buying Ethereum. It is overbought, but again, the Ethereum ETF news is now coming on the horizon. May is the deadline for the SEC to make a decision. I don't think they'll approve it, but there is still a chance to make money. I wouldn't be buying now, but before, when we were buying around the 1,500 level, I'd still be holding it because people will anticipate the ETF to be approved, and you probably want to start selling off after the halvening, maybe middle of April. And then there's smaller market caps, for example, XRP, anything below 50 cents, I'll be buying. It's just much more of a long-term hold XRP is. And as I said before, it can come down to 30 cents, so be prepared for all outcomes. But I'm looking for XRP to make a 10x in the next 2 years. And then you've got smaller market caps like something like USO, which is up 28% today. We were talking about this around 20 cents literally last week. And there's these coins which can do 10x's in the next two years. So let's see if there's anything worth buying today. ADA is already extended. Just a quick look through. Let's see if anything pops out. Litecoin is a good 5x. Litecoin is, and it's not exploded like others. So Zach Zate will be happy about that. He might be adding to his bags. XRP is still looking like a good buy, to be honest, but again, I've been saying under 50 cents, and we've gone under 50 cents a few times in the past month. Dogecoin is not looking too bad of a buy. If you really want to be in the cryptos, then Dogecoin is another good one. Just trying to see if anything else pops out at me while I'm looking through these charts. I think VeChain's already started. We were buying this earlier on. Yeah, nothing big jumping out at me, but we'll see. We're not focused too much on crypto today. Uniswap's already gone up. Sandbox is not horrific levels. Sandbox is probably a good one. A good maybe 10x in the next couple years. It's not too overextended, so you can write them down. Maybe if you get a 10-15% drop one day, you might want to pick some of these coins up. Let's go back to the S&P 500 for a second while we discuss interest rates, and then we're going to be looking at FSR. So we're going to look at FSR in the next 5 minutes, and then we'll look at SoundHound, and then we'll be looking at Nikola. So if you have just joined us, please do hit the like button. There's a lot of comments coming through, so I might not be able to respond to everyone while I'm doing this. If you do send a super chat to support the channel and the show, then I'll be able to reply to you and do your chart as well. So again, this is the S&P 500, and what I've got here on the other screen is the Fed Watch tool, which is telling me about interest rates and the probabilities of cuts. And see if I can make it any bigger for you guys. Give me a second. Let me see if I can make this any bigger. Here we go. So it's showing you the meeting dates of obviously Fed Jerome Powell's sort of meetings and speeches, and when he decides when him and the committee decide whether to raise, hold, or cut rates. And as we can see for the next two meetings, what the market's priced in, and that's what's reflected in the price of the markets, is surprisingly the next two meetings is there's no cuts. We did obviously hear that he said that he's not expecting any cuts in March, and it seems like the market's not expecting any cuts in May either. When the market is expecting cuts is in June, and what that is bringing it down to the 5% mark. And then in July the market's expecting it to still be there. So that could mean that they cut then the month before in June, or they could be cutting in July. This is just a probability that on that date what the interest rate's going to be. So we're not expecting cuts for another sort of three months. So what's going to be concerning is the next earnings season. A lot of these companies that have taken out loans, maybe during COVID, they're really putting off refinancing for a while. but it's coming up to the point where we might start feeling it in the markets, and these companies might start feeling it, and we might start seeing layoffs, which obviously could lead to a recession. We saw a recession be declared in the UK. That's one ticked off. That's what I've been saying. The next big one is obviously, what's the US economy going to do? The US economy seems quite resilient at the moment. A recession could take a year to play out. Obviously, we've got the elections coming up, and no one would want to see their markets come down before, so they're probably holding up the markets until after where that could happen. So the recession might be a bit later than I expected. But what's interesting here is there's a 2% chance, and I haven't seen this in a while, that there's going to be a rate hike, which is interesting. I don't think this is going to happen. I think if they hold these interest rates for long enough, it's going to be sufficiently restrictive. However, a scenario could play out, which I think does need to be priced in, where inflation stays fairly sticky, CPI stays fairly sticky, around that 3% mark. We haven't seen inflation come down too much. We've seen it stay around the 3% mark for the last 6-7 months, I believe, which can turn into a problem. So something to keep an eye out on, something to be putting cash aside for, because you don't want to miss an opportunity where the markets come crashing down 20% and you have no cash on hand. So that's just a little warning that the market is pricing in rates higher for longer, which me and Martyn have been saying for the longest time. Now finally the market's pricing it in. I mean, not too long ago we were seeing rate cuts being priced in for last meeting and this meeting. So that's what we've been saying, but it's also keep in the back of your mind that there could be a chance that we see a rate hike if inflation doesn't come down and it stays sticky at these 3% mark. So yeah, I just want to bring that to your attention. And again, by the beginning of 2025, it's not like interest rates are going to be at the lowest they've ever been. They're still going to be at 4.25 to 4.5%. That's what the market's pricing in. So they're still going to be fairly high by the beginning of 2025. So something to keep in mind. And the S&P is very at all-time highs, which I don't know if that's quite right. I don't, especially for buying in now. If you're looking at 5-10 years horizon, then yeah, it's fine. But if you want to make money along the way and put your money in at the best possible time, then I'll be waiting for a pullback. And that's just my opinion only. Obviously, everything I say is not financial advice. So now let's go to the comments before we cover Nikola, SOUN, and FSR. Martyn says we'll be covering. Yes, we will. Live Q&A. Yes, do ask me questions now. I am going to be looking at the comments. Do hit the like button if you have just joined us. My average is 0.45. I'm looking for long term. Thank you, sir. Oh, Jose, yeah. The chart we were looking at, it's not going to go too much lower than those 3 levels I showed you. So still in that sort of buying range if it comes down a bit lower. So and there is a lot of upside potential on the technical side of it. I don't know about the company personally, so I can't tell you about the fundamentals. Thank you, Martyn, for the beautiful Members Day. Yes, thank you for the Members Day. It was very exciting seeing all those shorts. I hope you've all seen it. Thank you for the short shout out. My pleasure. We'll do it again, says Martyn. James 007, good evening, Sensei and everyone. Thank you, James, for being here again. Good evening, Martyn. Thank you for your personalized short video. It was a great idea. Much appreciated. Sensei, please can you have a look at the chart for natural gas? Let's have a quick look at that. It's going to answer you. Oh, okay. Natural gas is coming down quickly, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's coming down to those low levels we were talking about, weren't we? Yeah, there's not much to say. I mean, this is the line in the sand. We're coming up to 1.53 is sort of the line in the sand, and it seems like we're coming back for a retest. The RSI is pretty low, so could drop suddenly below it, but anywhere around that level and below it if we do see a little crash, because there's going to be a lot of stop loss hunting around this level. Is a buying opportunity. There's not too much more to say. The RSI is low. It's the lowest. It's been, well, this chart goes back down to 2015. I think it's sort of at historical lows. So how much lower can it go realistically? maybe another 10%. Yeah, maybe another 10%, worst case. Good luck trading that. It seems to be, it's a very big downtrend. At one point it will go back up. It's natural gas, it's not going to go down forever. Sorry to say that Luna will go sideways for a while. Yes, I don't think we're looking at Luna today, but if you want me to show you the chart, I can do. Oh, sideways for, yep, okay, I understand now. So we got someone recommended AAB, but he says don't take my recommendation seriously. So thank you for sharing. Do you think the Nasdaq 100 will fall tomorrow? I'm predicting somewhere between 1,700 Nasdaq. If you become a member, I can answer your questions, but we have a 5-second look at the Nasdaq chart. Yeah, it's hard to tell. There's nothing specifically saying it's going to go up or down. Zach Zit says, hi, Tracy, Brian, and Ian. 100k Bitcoin is program. Yes, in the next year, 2 years. I actually think we'll see 150k, maybe even 200k. James W. How's it going, everyone? Says Vincent. Welcome, Vincent. James W. Sensei, CRO could be a 10x or more. I think CRO is often underlooked. Yes, it has come up maybe a 2-3x already, but yes, CRO can definitely do a 10x. The way I've studied CRO, you can only make money with other coins before and then put it in CRO, just like XRP. It's a bit of a lagging coin. The market's always wrong. He'll cut when he wants to. Yes, the market, as we've seen before, the market always doesn't seem to go the market's way. But yeah, I don't think he's going to cut for at least the next 2-3. Fear for the election. MSK is going to be rich on Thursday. Warner Brothers stock looks weak. Okay, thank you all. Now let's get into the reviews. How many do we have watching? How many likes do we have before we start this? 34 watching, 22 likes. Let's hit that like button. We normally have a 100% like ratio on this show, so if we can get that higher before we start the reviews, that'd be brilliant. I'm going to start with FSR. And we'll turn it into a video as well. So if anyone wasn't in the live stream, they can watch later on as well. I had a quick look just before the stream, see what the chart's been saying historically. See how many likes we have now. We'll start at 25 likes, I think. 24 likes, one more like, and we'll start the review. Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. We've got 27 likes now. Thank you, James W. So I'm going to do the video as if Martyn's already done the intro, and I'll do it that way, because how we've done it before. Okay, so that's the Fisker chart, and let's start the video. Thank you very much, Martyn. Now we're going to look at the technicals of Fisker, ticker symbol FSR. I've already done a few drawings, very minimal. This stock has traded as high as $32. We're not going to see that anytime soon. Where you can hope for the best for FSR is sort of a $10. This is where it IPO'd at and where it's spent some time, and it's come back to, as you can see, in the 6th of November 2020 before it went at 2 all-time highs, and the 14th of May 2021. We traded a lot around it in 2022, and then we started the sell-off. And then this sell-off got very accelerated since October of 2023, and we haven't really caught a break since. That came all the way from $6.30. I can tell you the exact percentage and dates. It came down about 80% in a matter of 50 days. And now it's been 127 days and we're down 90% from a point in 2023. So it is oversold. You look at the RSI down here, it is oversold. It's in that oversold territory all the way under 30. It is right now at 31, but it's been oversold for a very long time. The one trend line you can see here is this downwards trend line. We've hit it once, twice. So if I show it for all the viewers very clearly, there's been one trend line here, and it's been a downward pattern the whole way down. So it's been a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, sort of a lower low, lower high, and then sort of a lower low. So you can see what's going on here, and then a bit of consolidation, but it was just a lower high, and then you saw this lower low, lower high, and then now you're sort of lower low, lower low. So this structure, there's no reason to believe that this structure won't, that it's going to suddenly reverse and start putting in higher highs, but that doesn't matter. That it still means there's a lot of money to be made along the way. The last high was basically at $2. So what you see here is a downward sloping trend line, and let's see if we've hit this trend line. And yes, we have. We've actually hit it and gone under it for a short amount of time, and now we're back out this trend line. So what I'm looking for here is sort of a bounce. And one thing I have seen on the charts is that, as you can see, there's a low here and a lower low. So just like before, there's a low and a lower low. However, you start looking at the RSI and you see a low and a higher low. You see this low here as well. There's a low, 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 low. This low was the lowest low on the RSI. It was a lower low, and we've got a higher low on the RSI, and there was a lower low on the chart, and there was a higher low on the RSI. That is fundamentally technically showing that there's seller exhaustion, and this is what we call bullish divergence in the chart sort of world. And what that means, it does give an indication that we could get a nice pop up. This is on the daily time frame, so this could be ongoing for a month, 2 months, and it could be start of a much longer upwards move. So there could be a way to start strategizing along a buy entry. I do think, obviously, have a look at Martyn's video on the fundamentals. You can probably, Martyn will probably link it just up here right now. Look at the fundamental analysis. We're looking at the technicals right now, but if you like the fundamentals and you think it's worth more than the market cap currently, which is let's see if I can find it for you guys, 315 million for an electric vehicle company which is producing very affordable cars that are competitive with the Model Y, the Kias, and all those sort of electric cars. It is very cheap for an electric vehicle these days. It's not like Lucid, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a £35,000-40,000 car, which you can actually buy right now. So it's not something silly. But yeah, check out the fundamental analysis. But looking at the technicals, it does look like there could be a trade setup or a long-term buy position at these historical lows. You're basically at all-time lows. Obviously, we had a little pop on Friday, but that's nothing if you sort of zoom out. It's really nothing when you zoom out to last month. What I'm looking for here, because of this bullish divergence, is either adding to a long-term position, or or if you wanted more of a short-term position or trading it or something like that, you could take sort of a long position and take your profits at maybe $1.35, which is actually really, really great risk to reward situation. You've got an 167% upside that can happen in a matter of months because you're so oversold and you've got this trade set up with a risk of risk reward ratio of 11.6, which is sort of unheard of. Obviously, you can take profits before, and I'm not giving any financial advice, but this is looking good. This is looking okay for sort of a turnaround and move up, and then you've got targets of sort of $2. Again, we're not going to look at sort of silly targets for now. When we start surpassing those targets, then yes, we can start looking at $4, $6, and eventually $10 if the company turns around. And let's see what they say in the earnings, which again will be linked above. Martyn's going to be covering the earnings this week. So this trade does highly depend on how the earnings go as well. It's going to be volatile, and volatile periods is never sort of the best time to trade. If you can only put in sort of what you're willing to lose. If you're trading with leverage, if you're buying long term, then you can afford to buy 50% now and 50% after if it does come down. But for now, this is all-time lows and it's looking like a nice trade setup. So the charts are looking good. It does give you opportunity to make some money. I'm going to look see if there's any comments coming through because this was made during a live video. Nothing at the moment for Fisker. But yes, and there's this moving average, which is the 50-day moving average, which is around $1.24, which could prove some resistance. But the 200-day moving average is around $3.73. So there's not too much resistance in its way to get back up to those 150 levels. And I think it can do that over the next month or two. So yeah, the technicals are looking good. The fundamentals are looking good. I mean, we do like to use alpha spread, which Martyn did use to do his review. Just looking at alpha spread now, it's saying the Wall Street target, the upside here, if you look over here, it's saying 324% upside, which is obviously good to see that the fundamental. That's a very brief look at the sort of the Wall Street targets. I just wanted to show you that quickly and put in the link for alpha spread with Martyn's referral code. It's just in the. It's always in the description if you want to look at the full fundamentals. But yeah, the Wall Street target's $2.50, and that's not impossible. Let's get to $1.20 first, and then we start looking at different targets. But right now, it looks like it might be putting in a bottom. So good luck, everyone, and I'll give it back to Martyn now. Okay, brilliant. We did that video, and we've done it live for everyone here. So if you did, let me write a note of that quickly. If there's any questions, I just wanted to do that as a live video as well. So if anyone hasn't seen this video, they can watch it later. We're going to do the sound stock as well. If you have any questions or if you want me to look into anything a bit more detail, let me know in the comments now. Oh, Development Alert is here. Hello, Zach. How are you doing? He's our charity partner in Uganda. Does a lot of great work. And we love to raise money every opportunity we get. Hope you're doing well, Zach. Here we go. This is sound. It's very late over there, Zach. Thank you for joining the stream. If you have just joined, please do hit the like button. Okay, so now we're looking at the right thing here. Yes, SOUND AI. We're going to do it in the style of a video again so we can publish it later, but obviously I am live for you guys here, so if you do have any other questions, please put it in the live chat. Anything about SoundHound AI as well, let me know. Okay, let's start this now. Thank you, Martyn. Now let's look at the sort of the technicals. This is the chart. It's on the daily. We can see where it IPO'd in 2022, and it obviously went up very high, like a lot of IPOs do. Hit a high of $18, and now we've been accumulating for quite a while now. Actually, this is a parallel channel I've drawn here, but with not too much. Obviously, when you look at the percentages, they are big swings: 355%, then back down 65%. But when you look at it sort of a long term, it's $1.50 to $3.50. It's been going up and down. It hasn't deviated from this parallel channel too much. Again, below the parallel channel is where is sort of oversold within the channel, and then above the parallel channel where it's overbought. So here, historically, if you're trading, you'd like to be selling here, buying at the bottom, selling here, buying at the bottom. That sort of strategy. And we've been in this for a while, and what we're coming up to now is the top of the parallel channel, which in the past we've seen deviate up 26% before. So it can head back to these highs and go up 26% before it does come back down. However, there's another possibility where this is finally, after all this accumulation, the trend can start heading back up. There'll be a few things I'd like to see before that, but to sort of confirm that's going to happen. Obviously, if the earnings come out this week and it's amazing, then the chart will go bonkers and probably head up to maybe $8. That can happen. There's not too much in its way. Obviously, it has to take out $5 first, but it is a fairly big company, so $1 billion would have to sort of come in to allow it to go to those $8. But it could happen if it has really great earnings, which Martyn will be covering. If you hit, click up here, you can see that live show where Martyn's going to be covering the earnings, which would be great to be watching to understand the stock a bit better. It can happen, but I'm not going to base my analysis on something I can't control and don't know of ahead of time. Right now, all I can say is we're at the high end of this parallel channel, where historically we have come back down. There is a pretty big gap on this chart. So if the earnings aren't good, then $2.44. Remember, put those limit orders in. Anything can happen in a situation where in an earnings call. Put those limit orders in. The heart line of this parallel channel is at $2.75. The gap closing is at $2.45. If you really like the stock and you don't want to buy it because it's gone up 75% in a matter of basically 2 days, put these limit orders in these levels, and maybe the earnings goes badly and you have a good entry point. If you're already holding it, then you might consider selling 10-20% of your position because it's gone up 67%. If it's gone up 67% in 2 days, that's something the S&P does in five years. So take your profits, don't get too greedy. Hold the rest, and maybe the earnings goes pretty well, and you might want to start selling some more. The next sell zone is about $5. Sell another 20%, and then hold the rest, and then have your next selling zone at a technical level, which will be at $8. You see what I'm saying here? You have to ladder out and ladder in. If you're already in a position, you might want to start selling a bit. Don't get too greedy. Put in your limit orders to sell at $5 and put in your limit orders to sell at $8. If you're not in and you've missed it, don't get, unless you really like what they're doing. Even if you really like what they're doing, only put in 50% of your money, unless if you really like what they're doing and you haven't heard of the stock until today and you really want to get in and your time horizon's 2 or 3 years plus, then maybe buy 50% and then keep the rest in case you do come back down to levels as 2.5. So keep these levels in mind. If worst case, this stock can come down to 160, so don't use up all your money. And ladder in and ladder out. And those are my levels I've shown you here. And that's all I really want to say about the SoundHound stock right now. I've given you the levels. If we start moving up higher, I'll come back on the show and I'll give you my thoughts. If we come back lower, I'll give you my thoughts as well. But I think there's not going to be too much movement outside of the range of buying at 275 or 248 and selling around 5 and 8. So the stock is pretty much covered on the technicals. If you do have any questions, do comment below down this video or join my live shows on Sunday and we can discuss it more. I'm just checking. This is made during one of my Sunday live shows. So I'm seeing if anyone's commenting now. No, nothing about this stock. Amazing. So I'll pass it back to you, Martyn, and thank you for having me on the show, and I hope you guys enjoyed my technicals. Amazing. So we've done that as well. I'm just going to make a note of the time I've done this. Let's see what the chat is saying. What do you guys think of the reviews? Hey, James says development. MSK is here. Hello, MSK. Vincent's. We shall see. But if it all goes bad Thursday, that's okay too. That's MSK is a very sensible investor. He goes in big, hoping for the big wins, but he knows it can go bad as well. He knows not to put in more money than he can afford to lose, and that's the best way to be trading. He knows he's buying these at low levels, and if it pays off big. But that doesn't mean it doesn't come out without risk. There's always risk. Development, I'm doing fine, Sensei. Yes, Monday here, past midnight. Oh, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for joining in so late. Please don't let me keep you up. Eric B, Dogecoin is back in the top 100 market cap. Amazing. Great to hear. That is a top 5 coin. And as the crypto market grows, then Dogecoin will grow alongside with it, I believe. Target Finances, Jim. James Dollar says, Sensei, how do you learn to read stock charts? I find chart reading interesting. I guess I've just studied charts for years, sometimes all night, especially during COVID in 2017 with the first crypto run. Not much else to do in COVID, so I just looked at charts, looked at patterns, try not to overcomplicate it. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube, but they just overcomplicate it too much. And once you overcomplicate it, it's not as you end up. I've just seen a lot of people overcomplicate it and end up losing. The way I like to do it is sort of more short to mid-term trading, finding buy zones, and reducing the risk that way. And just by watching Sunday shows and stuff like that, you get the hang of it, and as I'm sure you have. By watching these shows, you can see what levels are and what laddering in and what high risk is and what low risk areas are. Jose Quintana, Mr. Lucas, is it essential for an investor to classify themselves as a bull or bear? If I am to choose a side, should my whole portfolio reflect the title? I don't know if Martyn's in the chat to answer that, but my answer to that to you would be it doesn't matter if you're a bull or a bear. You just have to keep on top of risk management. It doesn't matter if you're a bull or a bear. You don't have to title yourself anything. Antonio de la Cruz says, what are your thoughts on Shiba Inu coin? It's never been my favorite, but if Dogecoin does well, if the crypto market does well, if the meme coin sector does well, then Shiba Inu will do well as well. I think chart reading is a good skill to learn. The more I watch, the more I pick up. Amazing James 7 will be here every Sunday or every week, and I'll try and show you as much as I can. But it's quite simple in my opinion to pick up. Obviously it takes a long while, but it's not something you learn overnight and continue to learn as you go along. Okay, let's do Nikola now, and then we can talk about some more charts. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Cyber Lunatics. We're doing Nikola. I think we've looked at this before because we can see all the lower highs and lower lows. As I'm sure you know now, James, this is higher highs, lower lows. Lower highs, lower lows. It's just a downtrend, and until that whole trend changes, then this stock is not heading up to anywhere it was before. You can see all these circles I've done before. This must have been for a previous time someone requested it. The highs are lower and the lows are lower. The trend is just down, and to see this trend change, you want to start seeing some for the long term. When you start looking at a stock, you want to see lower a low be put in, and then a higher high, so it's higher than this high, then a higher low, then a higher high, then a higher low, then a higher high, then a higher low. And then that's when you know a trend is changing, and at this area here, you can start buying back in for the long term. That's just identifying what a trend is, and you can identify after the first few, and then you sort of say, okay, the next time it goes high, I'm going to get out the stock because the trend is changing. Oh, I don't know what I've just done. The stock will be delisted. Are you talking about Nikola? Hi, Sensei, can we look at SPCE and RAT, please? Yes, we can. We might even make some videos. I will do that for you. Let's just do Nikola first because that's in the title of the show. Yes, Matthias will unfortunately, luckily for you, Matthias, Corral Will has requested it, and because he's a member, we'll do it. Okay, let's do Nikola. This is not looking as good as the others. It doesn't present too much opportunity, but we will look at it. Thank you, Martyn, for the introduction. Now we're going to be looking at the technicals of Nikola. This stock, as you can see, previously someone must have requested. You can see these highs and then these lower lows and then these highs and then a lower low, high, lower low, high, lower low. So you can see from the very beginning, you would be getting out around here realistically. because you saw this trend upcoming, and the trend has just been to the downside. Is there a change of trend coming? I don't really see it. Let me see if I can get the RSI back. I seem to have lost the RSI. No, there we go. The trend, is it changing? I'm not too confident it is. We do have this low put in and then a midterm sort of higher high. What we need to make sure is we don't take out these lows. So this low here, if we break the 58 cents level, then it's basically all over for Nikola. What is the market cap? It is 884 million. If we break the lows of 59 cents, maybe if you put a stop loss around 58 cents or something like that, because I do predict if we break these lows, we can come down maybe 30, 40 more percent. So stop loss could be in place. However, the only good thing I see on this chart is on the daily, you can see this low here and this lower low. On the RSI, you've got the opposite going on. You've got this low and a higher low. This is bullish divergence. And the way to strategize this specific stock would be a long position anywhere from here, stop loss again under where we've just said, and then aiming for that sort of 200-day moving average at $1.23. That is a possibility, and that's a way to reduce your risk and still be involved. It is a volatile stock, so you do want to take profits when you can. It is at a low, so that's the only thing. It's the long term is not looking good, but the mid term and the short term is not looking horrendous. Just because you've already got the lows, you have already gone up to sort of a overextended level at $3. So you've taken out all those stop losses. So it can come to a point where you sort of hit this $1.70. You hit the levels where the 200-day moving averages, which relate to also these highs over here. So you can see a $1.28 Nikola, especially if the earnings come out and it's good. Expect it to go up. If the earnings come out and it's bad, then you might have your buyers sit 60 cents, maybe again at 52 cents. But I would be careful buying this one. It's had its time to accumulate. It's time for it to go up, and the clock is ticking. The longer it doesn't go up, the more likely it's starting to break down. But yeah, my targets would be $1.28. And you just saw my trade set up there with the stop loss below 58 cents. So yes, I think we've already seen the Nikola earnings, haven't we? But yes, Martyn's already done the fundamental review of the stock. So if you click above my head, you'll be able to see that, and I'm sure Martyn reiterates it when I hand it back to him. But again, yeah, Nikola is at a low point. If you're DCAing, do DCA. Just be wary. If you break these all-time lows, then you can start to see this accelerate to the downside. Just look back at the stock and all it's ever done since its highs in 2020 is come down. So remember, if you're buying in, don't put in all your money. Maybe put in 50%, 40%, and just ladder in. Maybe the next buy at 58 cents, next buy at 51 cents, and the next buy after that. The way you can sort of see where it could be the next good buys, it's just a quick, very small Fibonacci. 41 cents is saying might be a good level to be buying it next. So you put a line there. That's worst case scenario. You might be looking at 40 cents, 41 cents Nikola. As long as we stay above 58 cents, there's nothing bad. We will probably be heading up to 128. Again, I can quickly show you the alpha spread, which Martyn uses as to do the fundamentals. Just a quick look. What's Wall Street targets is 148% to the upside, 180. So again, that's our second take profit level. And then the intrinsic value is at around $1. So that's just below our first target. So alpha spread, looking at the fundamentals, is saying it's pretty much a buy. And at this moment in time, I'm also saying it's a buy. So I haven't shown you exactly what I was looking at there. It's alpha spreads technology. The link to get this will be in the description below. And you get a 10% discount. And we just have Zach Zay in the comments saying, I'm trying to find the Nikola station. Let me just bring this to you. Sensei is a member of ours who's went and saw the SPCE spaceport, and what he's just said in the comments now is, I'm trying to find the Nikola station in Oakland. It's being operated by First Element. I'll phone in live from there. That is breaking news, and I would love to see that. Thank you very much, Sensei. Good luck trying to find it. Would love to see this plant as well. Thank you for everything you do, Sensei. Let me pass it back to you, Martyn. Amazing. We've just done that one. Let me take a note. 55. Yeah, Nikola's an interesting one. It is sitting at a nice level. It's got this bullish divergence. It's just, if it breaks these levels, then it can fall a lot quicker and faster. And let's look at wrap. So this is for, who wanted to wrap? Was it Will? Yes, Will. Thank you for the introduction, Martyn. Yes, we'll be looking at the technicals, the charts of wrap. So let's get straight into it. Obviously, we love this company. We've no affiliation with it at all, but Martyn's managed to meet the CEO on the Meet the CEO series, and I love what the company's doing and what it stands for, and I love seeing the CEO live on the show. But now to the chart perspective, again, everything I say is not financial advice, it's just my opinion as a chart reader. We can see the base level for this stock is around that $4.50. You can see a lot of sort of action going on around it, a lot of what's the word? A lot of what's the word? I'm trying to draw a box as well so you guys can see exactly what I'm referring to. A lot of price action around this level here. We hit it, we come down, a lot of volatility, a lot of price action around this level now. So there's a lot of stop losses, take profits, all that sort of stuff around this level here, between sort of $3, between the $4 and the $4.50, and that's what we've hit now, and we're sort of reversing at. We did have this line previously, so if you did watch the videos before on wrap, or when we discussed it, I think it was in one of my Sunday live shows. $4.50 was the mark, and we hit it, and now we're reversing a little bit. What we want to see now is a higher low be put in place. That could be anywhere between, so again, you've got these lows here, and you've got the all-time lows, I think was there, yes, and then you've got the higher lows, which is here. So what you want to see is a low be put in anywhere between $2 and $3.50, and you've got this uptrend, and all that will mean is more market participants are holding the stock, and that is bullish for the stock, and that will help is it will help it build sort of a foundation to break past this $4.50 level, where a lot of market participants seem to be putting their stock their take profits. And once you break past that, then as you can see through this price action here, it can be very quick. You can be heading back up to the $7 fairly quickly. So let's see, maybe the lows we put in at this 200 day moving average at $2.50. So there is potential of downside on the wrap technologies. However, you can see all this accumulation here, and now you're starting to reverse. You put in higher highs, now you need to put in a higher low, and the stock is looking good. The stock is looking like a stock that can head up to $8, that can break its all-time highs, especially with what they're doing and their deployment and their fast growth. And that should start being reflected in their stock price fairly soon. This bottom here, I think we won't be seeing these lows ever again. I think this was an accumulation phase, and now we're going into the bull phase of this stock. The RSI is not overbought, it's not oversold, it's sitting in the bullish territory at 50. So it's looking like it can still continue to go up, but it's just looking to put its footing in. It's looking to put in a higher low. It might already put it in. It might put it in at $3.20. There's no specific level, but I'll be buying it if it drops another 15-20%, just continuing to DCA, because the way the stock is looking, it looks like it's putting its bottom and it looks like it wants to start heading up. And that's my thoughts on the technicals. And I'll pass back to you, Martyn. Thank you. So that was wrapped for Will. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to do. I want to see Martyn get wrapped by the wrap device, don't we all? Let's look at SPCE and we can finish off with SPCE. Uh-oh, just like we said. Thank you, Martyn. Looking at SPCE again on the technicals, on the chart perspective, unfortunately, I don't. It's just like I said, just like we said. It hit again. 150 was level to buy. We bought it. I haven't moved these charts at all. $2.60. You see this rectangle here between $2.60 and $2.70 was the sell zone for me. That happened. Then the next level to get out was when we broke this this trend line, this purple trend line here. We broke that around the price was around $2.30, and then we broke this trend line, the green one here, around $2.20. They're all signs to be getting out. Then what did we break? 184. And what did that mean? 184 means we're heading down to 150. In my opinion, I've said that many times, the stock is trending back down. This is what happens when you don't hold the higher lows. You start inputting lower lows, like here, then you start rolling over. When you stop hitting higher highs, that means the trend is changing, the trend is heading to the downside, and that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing the uptrend finishing and coming back down. Our only hope really is to hold the 150 levels. If you don't hold the 150, 140 levels, like I said over here, if you don't start holding levels, then $1 is back in the cards, and that's not what we want to see. We do have the SPCE earnings coming up. Click over there to click up above my head, and Martyn will mention it again. We are going to be covering Martyn's going to be covering the earnings live. That will be pivotal for the stock. If the earnings aren't good, it could be buy SPCE, and that's something we would hate to see. But the technicals, the chart is not looking good. It's looking like we're heading down to 150. And again, as I said, very important we hold 150. If we don't, then it's $1. I did give the warning signs. There's not much else I can do. If you're looking at this long term, then there is going to be a DCA moment for you at 150, 140, maybe even $1. So good luck to everyone holding, and that's my chart perspective. Back to you, Martyn. So that was the reason I'm saying back to you, Martyn, is because I'm going to be producing these as videos as well, sending them off to Martyn to see if he can put them out as videos as well. So if people haven't joined us for the Sunday show, they can watch it later on. But I hope that helped you, Will. That was still directed at you. The reason I did it was for you. That is my thoughts on SPCE. It's a shame to see it come back down, but when the trend changes, there's not much else you can do. You can see lower up. It was a low, then a high, then a lower high. Then a higher low, higher high, higher low, and then the trend changed. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then it's what happens when trends change, and that's why the charts are fundamental to be looking at, as well as the fundamentals. The technicals is good to look at. James 007, thank you for supporting the channel. Hit the like button for Sensei. Yes, please do hit the like button. That would be amazing. Thank you, James 007. Still holding 143. I'm still holding 143, the lowest of SPCE. Amazing. It could still be the lows. I mean, I think we hit 137 for a split second, but it could be a double bottom situation. I'm not saying it's the end. I'm just saying 150 is most likely going to come now, and then are we going to see some bullish divergence? Are we going to see a double bottom? I wouldn't mind seeing a double bottom. It could turn out beautifully. It could turn out something like a if you just look at the green ones I'm drawing, it could turn out like the world's best double bottom, which explodes to $100. Like that is still possible. You might get a price action like this, where you come back here, you test 145 for the last time, and then you blast off, double bottom, massive double bottom, and then you literally can, that could be the double bottom, the best double bottom ever, and that could happen, and you're off.
Hit the like button for Sensei, thumbs up.
Thank you very much, James 007. Thank you for supporting the show. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, it could be a double bottom and then you're off to $100. Let's just see. But 150 seems likely. We break 150, then it's 140. We break 140, then it's $1. So let's keep an eye on that. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the show. We're running a bit over. Matthias, we've just covered SPCE. Buying more this week. Good luck, Sensei. Oh yeah, so I think Matthias was just asking if it was SPCE. Yes, every week. Okay, we've come to the end of the show. Any more comments? Let's see how many likes we got. "28 watching, 35 likes. Beat that, Martyn." We always get more likes than viewers. I love it. Thank you all. If you haven't liked already, let's get 36 likes with 28 people watching. That would be amazing. Fun short squeeze. Do you think? Let's have a look. Funware went exactly to my target and came all the way down. That's crazy. I mean, there's still a gap down here at 0.08, and now there's a gap above it. This is a terrible one to trip resin. It's very volatile. I wouldn't be touching it right now. No, leave it. Thank you for the live show, Sensei. It's much appreciated. Thanks, James 007, for tuning in. Let's see how these videos do. If you see the videos come out live, please do hit the like button and put a comment in under them. I'll be replying to all the comments. We'll be live again next Sunday, same time, same place, and I look forward to it. In the meantime, it's going to be a big week, so do check out all of Martyn's earnings. And what was the votes for the poll? The votes for the poll was 66% green, 22% red. I said red. Let's see who's right. Oh, Brian, first time listening to your channel. Thanks. Oh, thank you very much, Brian. Hopefully I see you again next week, same time.